What's going on, guys? You're well here, and welcome to Confabulate, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm your host, Will Sanchez. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today, guys, we have Tiana Togotogo here with us. I'm very excited for you to come on. I'm usually nervous for everyone that comes on, but, I'm super excited. Thank you for stopping by.
Hey, guys. That was so dope watching you do your intro. It's just so cool. It seems more, realistic or something.
I know. It's so weird. I'm so nervous, but then once the intro comes on, I'm like, okay, I'm in my mode.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for you to come on. I've always looked up to you because you're just so real and down to earth and just so funny, and I've always loved your confidence.
You're gonna make me cry already. Aww.
Oh, Tiana. No, for real. You were always a year older than me, and I was gonna talk about this later, but I guess I'll tell you now. One time in class in Miss Criscuna's for science,
yeah,
we were doing a debate thingy, and you spoke first, and then I spoke, and I didn't really say anything. I didn't talk, and then you legit told me, you're like, Yoel, you gotta speak up. God gave you a voice for a reason. You have to use it. You only have one life to live. And
I said that?
Yeah, and that stuck with me, for forever.
Wow.
I've always looked up to you. I just think you're super great. I can't believe you're on.
That's crazy. I didn't know I was that ballsy. I forget, but that's a bold statement for me to say back then. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's why everyone loves you, because you're gonna say what's on your mind. Have you always been like that?
It took a while, but I like that I said that, and it's nice to hear that I've gave words of encouragement, or at least I tried to. You know?
Yeah, and you're also extremely hilarious. Is that just part of your character, or have you always been super funny, or are you aware that you're being funny?
I'm not trying to. I feel what it is, I feel my humor is kind of I say things that are very blunt, and people think I'm joking sometimes, but I'm not. But I think it's just because it's realism, so people are just oh, well, shit, she's not afraid to say what she has to say. But I realized kind of later on going down the line that a lot of it was kind of trauma projection. A lot of people, if you asked them back then, they would ask or they would say about me she's always the girl that doesn't give a can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The girl that doesn't really give a fuck, and to an extent I didn't, but it's because I had to adapt to that character persona. Right. Was to just learn how to speak my mind, because I was going unheard for so long.
Yeah.
And I was just well, fuck this.
Yeah. Did your friends help you with that at all? Because I know your friends, you guys are very similar when it comes to being outspoken and speaking your mind.
I actually, it's kind of funny because we live in such a small town, and we go to school in a small town. Mm-hmm. I actually feel I didn't really have a lot of friends in elementary school, or it was kind of going towards middle school that's when I started being really out there and provocative, vulgar, whatever, you name it. And so eventually I feel I started gravitating to the friends that I have now. Yeah. Which is cool, because the majority of the friends that I'm with now, I've grown up with them since grade school, but we won't talk about that. But I mean, yeah, I guess in a way they did, but I feel I've always been the one that had to be kind of more the, I guess, inspirational friend, or yeah. I feel people had to go off of me rather than me taking from others.
Right. And how was high school for you throughout those 4 years?
It was a trip for me, because I remember, I was in high school, and when the whole homecoming thing had happened, I remember crying to my mom, and I was just this all seems really weird, or because I went from being bullied and stuff like that growing up to now half the people that used to bully me are wanting me to you know what I mean? And just because people liked my personality and stuff like that, and it was crazy for me, because I felt as if that would have never happened. So I was just crying to my mom, because it was a weird shock to me, because I just, not to get all deep and kind of but I was emo growing up a lot. I was so freaking emo, and to feel the opposite flip side, especially coming from people that used to say otherwise against me, was a lot. And I was just wow. I guess I was so young, and I didn't know how to handle all of that, the big 180, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't mean to be ignorant or like rude, but I have no idea the homecoming thing that happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
When I got nominated,
Uh-huh.
even just to get nominated for me was like weird because like I didn't. It was a lot to feel like I had like a attention on me. Like weirdly
Oh,
enough, even though I did like crazy shit in high school, it was weird to feel like the attention was on me because it just kind of reminded me of back then it was bad
yeah.
attention. I felt like I was like an animal in the aquarium and people would just like stare or like say things growing up. So that's how it
Right.
was for me. So it just kind of triggered me, and that this time around it was for something I guess good and.
Wow. Yeah, I could relate to that because I was nominated too, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt the same way because I was such an outsider for
Yeah.
such a long time and just so quiet and timid, and it's like getting that attention, but like it felt, yeah, I agree with you. It's like a different type of attention because I
Yeah.
was bullied for, oh my God, for the dumbest shit just for being myself.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. But but yeah, it does feel nice. It was kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, did you win at all? I don't remember.
I didn't win junior year, but senior year I won Homecoming Princess.
I won Homecoming Prince senior year.
Hey.
I couldn't believe it, and it was a cool moment because I was the first game with the new track, the first homecoming game.
Oh, okay.
So that's when they announced the winners, and they announced me in front of legit the whole school. It was fucking embarrassing.
That's really dope though. That's so cool.
It was cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Next up, I wanted to mention. Oh, one time I asked you like, of where you live, and you said Los Banos. Did you carpool or travel from Los Banos all the time?
Yeah, me and my mom were commuting from Los Baños to go to school out here because she also used to work at Social Security in Salinas.
Right.
So that's how, we had to do it. She would work at like 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. So
Wow.
we're up hella early. Like, but yeah, I used to live there, but I'm living back at home now after she's, passed and everything.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you about that too, about your mom passing, because I know you post about her a lot, and every time I see it, like, my heart breaks, just because I can't imagine what that feeling is like. So what was that time like for you when that everything happened?
Um, uh, I feel like I'm all still trying to figure it out now.
Yeah.
For me, it was, I mean, I lost her when I was 18 and I'm now 21. Um, it's been really hard, but I feel like the hardest part or the saddest part for me is I'm not able to really think of my mom like some people, my family are always like, I think of her all the time, I miss her and everything, and I don't really, I feel like in a way I try not to think of her just because I feel like it hurts too much, and I just am afraid that if I ever, I've never really been that emotionally stable, to be completely honest, and I'm nervous that if I were to start crying, I'd never stop crying about it, and I'm scared to see where it would take me because I know she wants me to live. So yeah, I'm physically present, but I would say for the while after she passed, I was, mm, if not dead already, like numb inside for the longest.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like, my heartbreak. I don't know what the fuck I would do. It's the worst, but I'm sorry. And I do think about you often. Every time you post, I always make sure to like leave a comment or just have you in my prayers.
Oh, thank you.
Um, I wanted to mention. I know you worked in Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's transition to Walmart. I knew you worked there for a little bit. Why did you start working there? Or like, what was that experience like working at Walmart?
It was cool. I got to meet a lot of new people, but surprisingly, because that was like my first and only ever, I guess, real job, you could say.
Yeah.
I started working because it was like 6 months after my mom had passed, and I was like, well, dude, if you're not like grieving or crying, then why don't you get your ass up and go work, like do something. So, it was cool. I met people there, but I feel like it's kind of like what I've heard, it's common anywhere you go, but like there's always kind of like people talk like they're in high school,
Yeah.
and they just like to, talk their shit. But I was still the same. Like it was always whatever was talked or spoken about behind me was always behind me. It would never be said directly. So, and I wasn't trying to really risk my job like that, but I'm like, okay, if it's indirect beef, then it's never really personally. It's never taken
Yeah.
personal. So,
So do you prefer it to be behind your back rather than to your face?
no, because then I want to confront the person, but clearly you're already too
Exactly.
pussy to even say it to my face. So then
Yeah.
it's like, that's the bigger issue because I don't want to hear all that, oh, I didn't say this or I said this or that. Bitch, if I say something and you try to, check me about it, I'm going to tell you I said that,
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to whoop my ass for it or, are you going to like talk about it? Because that's the thing is I don't care to talk about the petty shit of someone. Like, I actually don't like to ever say a person is ugly or like judge them off of their physical appearance. I'm always looking at the character rather than like the person on the outside. That's
Mm-hmm.
just a show. You're a spirit just like I am, and we're here living the human experience. And I feel like just because I've had a lot of time to spend within my own mind of, the darkness and the sadness, you don't know what people are going through, and people can conceal it really well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the reason that pushed someone over the edge because there was a lot of folks. That's crazy. For as much as I was bullied, I can't even tell you. I remember the names or the faces. I just know what was said about me. That's what sticks with people. And maybe that's why I just watch what I say to people, or, I try to say things that may be a little blunt or harsh, but it comes from the heart and it's speaking genuinely.
Right. Yeah, like me too. I would always hear like this person doesn't like you. This person said this. I'm like, well, why aren't they fucking telling me?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to hear it from you? And so much shit was said about me when I started my channel, or like shit that I think he's gay. I think he's gay. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And it just says a lot about the other person because it takes a lot to offend me. Like, I've been through like too much shit, and it's like you're gonna have to like try harder to like offend me because
Period.
it. And at the end of the day, like none of it matters. And I don't know. It just says a lot about the other person. And I've always like you, I've always thought carefully about what I say to people because you never know what they're going through. You can make shit worse. Just living every day, just being kind. So I definitely relate to you. I feel like I'm looking at like my twin right now because
We're twin flames.
I relate to you so much about that. And what's been like the biggest lesson that you've learned in life or in your short 21 years of life?
Honestly, as of recently, I don't know how religious you are or how religious anybody else is that's listening, but I have so many mottos or like, what are those things called? Like, like quotes and shit to live by. But
Yeah.
I would say okay, there's two. My first number one is and I don't even know if I'm saying this correctly, but I know it's involving God and I don't take him lightly. So for me, it's, if God allows it, then it's God's will. And that could be for the bad stuff or the good stuff. You know what I mean? But there's always a lesson to be learned. And one of my favorite things to kind of live by as well is, how do I say it? Like, it's not about what you know, it's about what you do with what you know. Because, you can know something but not act on it or do the right thing. And I just like to kind of question myself that from time to time. Like, well, what do you know about the situation? Or what can you apply to it? Or what can you learn from it after it's happened? I'm a philosophical
Yeah.
junkie. I love to hear quotes and other people's perspective. It's so beautiful, and especially with quarantine, I really, adore to hear other people's, minds because I tend to live a lot in my own head, and
Yeah.
it can be exhausting. So
Yeah. I was learning about something similar in psychology about like situations, like how are you going to take the situation?
hmm
Are you going to accept it right off the bat? Are you going to think about things could be a lot worse? Or are you going to blame it on someone else or blame it on yourself? Because everyone is different how they take certain situations. Like, how do you think you take it? Do you accept it at first? Or,
no, I actually learned that about myself. In a way, how I'm taking it is kind of like the fight or flight defense mechanism.
yeah.
Um, After my mom had passed, I feel like after that I kind of came to realize everybody knows about the fight or flight instinct, but for me, I'm that little portion that freezes in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that's kind of the worst one to be in because, like, you freeze in that portion of time, and it just kind of stays stuck there. And there's a piece of you that gets kind of taken in through those traumatic events, like piece by piece.
Right.
So I'm kind of more or less that. I don't really process things, and I, surprisingly, for as open as I am, I think I do have a vulnerability issue when it comes to speaking about my emotions rather than just saying what's happened to me. I kind of split myself like in twos or in parts where it's like I can say what's happened, but to speak on the emotional front makes me really sensitive and kind of feel awkward or uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Yeah, I've never been into speaking about emotions. Like, I could tell you like what's going on, but I don't want to tell you like how I'm feeling about it or how
Right.
I'm doing. I could tell you how like my sister or my mom or my dad are doing, but for me, I don't know. I think it comes with putting others before yourself. That's always been my thing, to care about other people's feelings rather than mine, I guess.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention your YouTube channel because that was literally my favorite thing when I
What?
was in high school, and I've told you this before.
You were
And
still in high school at the time?
when you started, I think I was a senior.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, I would watch him and make me laugh because I needed shit to make me laugh. I needed shit to make me feel better, and that was my favorite thing. And you haven't posted in like years.
I actually took it down, but
Mm.
I think at the time, for me, it was kind of like I feel like I didn't really know myself, and I was so scared of like the judgment that could come with it, and knowing that these people, you could have your internet trolls and shit like that, and I wasn't like trying to beef over the net. Like, bitch, I'd rather beef in your face, you know?
Yeah.
It was just a lot. Like, and also too, I feel like a lot of people knew me for my humor, but I didn't. I felt really lifeless. That sounds super dark, but like, I felt really lifeless, and I didn't want to have to try to live up to the standards of having to post all the time, or whether a person didn't feel like this video was as funny, because I was moving into like this era of myself where I was just in a way depressed, but you couldn't really tell. And I didn't know how to kind of play it off anymore, like I'm happy, or living for the sake of others. It was just so much more deeper to me than all that. I feel like I am funny because I'm, realistic and stuff, but in the same sense, I'm also I like to think a deep person, or someone that's just more than the surface level. And I just want to be real with my shit. And I wasn't in a position to try to, you know, make others laugh. I wanted to shed light or to do something bigger than just, humor. It's cool if I get to make you laugh, because sometimes people don't want to just be up in their head and, think about all this deep shit.
Yeah.
But for me, that's who I was becoming, is just kind of really looking deeply into things, and, and sometimes it's hard to make it stop. So
Yeah.
I kind of quit that.
So you started the channel mainly because you were going through a lot and you just wanted to like figure it out?
I started YouTube because that was actually the dream that I wanted to fulfill, and I spoke with my mom about it. That's the reason why I have the phone that I have now, is because for my 18th birthday, my mom was like, okay, do you want a camera or like a laptop, or do you want like a phone, so then you could just do it all from your phone? And I was like, just a phone. But I started it, and surprisingly enough, the night that I found my mom, I actually went to the room earlier than I normally do. I would stay up till like 2 or 3, and then go and sleep in her room because she has dialysis. So like I was such a mama's girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the room around like 12 or something, and I was actually up editing my second video, and I was so excited to go share the news with her, because I wanted to kind of make it be like, when I'm done filming one, I'll have the next one edited, so that way I can push videos out like that consistently. And I was actually getting ready to post. That's why I actually posted the same day that she passed, because I was gonna post that day anyway. And I just felt like, dude, if I stop now, I might not ever get it going. So just try. I was in this weird, I forget the word for it, but like, I guess like in a denial phase where you think you're like invincible or something. So I just was like, trying to distract myself from the bigger thing. Like, your mom just died, dude. Like, to process that, I was like, no, I'm going to keep living for her. It's been less than 24 hours,
Wow.
and that's why I think it was just as short lived as it was, as it began, is because it was just so much bigger. And to think about going back to it, because there have been people that have told me to, they want me to do it. And it was hard to explain because I can't make sense of it myself sometimes, but I have my reasons, and whether I do or don't. Do you think they'd accept me back in the YouTube community, even though I'm not always like all humor and shits and giggles anymore?
I absolutely think we will. Everyone will. Um, but now hearing you explain it, like I could see how like um it might bring back that time of your life, the whole starting YouTube things. But I will watch. I will always watch, and everyone will. But I do see why, and it explains a lot. And yeah, it breaks my heart actually.
I'm glad it makes sense though, because I never really knew what to say about it and how to say it.
Yeah.
I just tried to, be honest about it with not only others but myself, and kind of face the fact that there's a lot of pent up emotions around it.
Yeah,
So
it's hard to explain. Yeah, but I did understand. Yeah, like I started my YouTube channel mainly because I was going through a lot, and I would always release all of my anger and shit into singing.
yeah,
So I just started filming myself. That's why everyone was always telling me like, you sing some sad shit, and you're always like so sad and like pouring your heart out on every song. I'm like, that was my way. Everyone had their own way. I'm not giving up on YouTube. I'm not quitting it. It's just I'm not gonna be posting as much because it was more of a priority for me at first. Like how you said, I was always filming, editing. I'm gonna post this day, and this day, and it was taking a lot of me. And I did that for like 3 years, and I just felt like it was very draining, and I felt like it took me nowhere. Like I improved with singing, and I got all this love and hate and a mixture of everything, but it's just it's not a priority for me anymore. I'll sing like maybe, I don't know, I'll post a video maybe once a month max, but I'm just not in the same place anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. And do you have any goals that you're striving for currently, or maybe in the near future?
Normally, I don't really like to. That's another thing too. I like to keep certain things to myself, but I will say I just completed getting my license to be an esthetician last month on the 25th. So with that moving forward, it's so funny. I never used to see myself wanting to go to like regular, school and like college and everything. But I am looking into furthering my education, and right now I'm just trying to make sure that I can, have some stability. And I like to do things. I don't know. I'm just I don't know how to say it, but I just want to like build my career, and even though it's taking a completely different route, I'm just excited to see moving forward, like what God will reveal to me, and and things like that. Just doing something that makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I've been saying this, like as soon as we turn 21, I feel like that's when the wheels start turning, because we're in such a lost place from like 18 and 19 and 20. Like as soon as I hit 21, I'm just like, okay, like I want a new car, I want to move out, let me finish school, I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of a time of uncertainty for me at least. Yeah, and I wanted to mention do you still talk to your friend oh my god, his name is escaping me. He has a YouTube channel. Robert.
Yeah. He said Bob.
No, I get confused because my friend Bobby, I call him Bob, but his name is Robert. So every time I hear Robert, I think of Bob.
Yeah.
But do you still talk to Robert?
Yes.
I see that he posts videos. Do you watch his videos?
Yeah.
Are you like proud of him or happy with him?
I'm hella happy and proud of him. It's something he's kept in like his back pocket for a while that he's been wanting to do.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy for him. I feel like he's had a lot of year of like growth and everything, and doing things that I feel like are positive changes. So I'm happy for him. Did you come out in high school, or was it after?
In high school or after? Oh, it was way after. I came out last year, around August or September, or in the summer. Yeah, I was 20 when I came out.
You had made a. Did you make a video about it?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I had watched it. And that's your first time ever, like, making the announcement?
When I posted it, first of all, that's the hardest fucking thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I did it with my eyes closed. I had the thingy there.
Really?
I closed my eyes and I clicked it.
Mm-hmm.
It said published, and then I closed everything, and I was not on social media for like a good week.
Oh, wow.
And then I checked, and we had like 500 views, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What was your question? I was gonna say something. Oh my god. When I posted it, basically everyone knew. I told my whole family and all of my friends, the hardest shit is your family. It's the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I had a list of all my family members. I'd call, I'd tell them, it would go great. Hang up, I'd cry, and then I'd go to the next person and do it all over again. I had to do it all in one day, because if I did it every day, it'd just be terrible for me.
Yeah.
And then I told my friends. And then once everyone that was important in my life knew, then I'm like, okay, let's just let the whole world know. Let's let YouTube know.
Yeah.
And and then I recorded the video sitting right here. It was like 7 a.m. I had to do it early because if I did it later, I'm already gonna be like fully like in the moment, and I'm just gonna cry the whole fucking time.
Oh.
If it's early, I'm just like, oh, let's get this over with.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. But yeah, I came out last year, and it's been super great ever since. Like, I could finally like talk and speak my mind and dress how I want to fucking dress.
Yeah.
And be friends with who I want to be friends with, and just be myself.
As you should.
Yeah.
You deserve that much. We're only gonna have this body, this, life once. I mean, if you believe in reincarnation, then sure, but I mean, it's just like, I've been really trying to learn to cherish self and cherish, the body that God gave me. And also too, I feel like I like this energy exchange that we have going on. Like, I feel like I've been trying to see like love and everything, or and I don't know, I feel like love is such a driving force to everything, and it's important to love yourself, because then once you love yourself, and the way you could try to love yourself the way God loves you, but that would be literally sometimes impossible, in life. But it's easier to outwardly love your surroundings, your environment, the other people around you. So I think it's beautiful, and definitely keep striving to learn to love Yoel Sanchez, and just as other people love and admire you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I've always admired you too, because again, you're like so confident, you love yourself no matter what. I've always admired that about you. That's what I always worked on. I always had those people in high school that I always looked at, and I'm like, oh my god, they're just so confident and so great, and like you could see them any day of the week and dress whatever they want to fucking dress, or and all the confidence in the world. We went through everything that I wrote for you. This is the time where I kind of just ask someone, like, is there anything you want to ask me, or anything you want to know about me, I guess?
How has doing the podcast, sorry, can I speak English or what? I'm so sorry. How has the podcast been going for you? Do you feel like you've been receiving more feedback for the podcast, or how is it different from, uploading podcasts than it is YouTube?
Yeah. Where do I begin? I guess I started this podcast because I was doing these videos on YouTube where I would Zoom with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would just talk like an interview setting. I did it with like 3 people. And then I'm just like, wait, this is like an interview, like we're just talking. And then I have all the gear already, like I had microphones and GarageBand, and I know how to use it. But a key point of it was like, I just wanted to work on my confidence and speaking skills, and just wanted to be myself. And I wanted this podcast to be like open to everyone. I want everyone to come on, and it's really benefited me. I really love it. I love doing it, and everyone's been loving it. I think we have like 200 streams already, and I only have 3 episodes out. And I had this guy on. His name is John Paul Wallace. He's the singer, one of my favorite singers, and one of my main inspirations. And he fucking came on. I thought he was gonna say no. he first was like, oh, I have a business meeting for my album, or I have to do this live stream, and I'm like, okay, no pressure, like I don't, it's fine.
You have to show me him later because I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, I'll show you when we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And he fucking came on, and I was shitting myself the whole time. He's gonna be right before your episode, and I.
Did he come here in person?
Oh no, he lives in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
He did it virtually.
Okay.
He did it virtually, and yeah, this podcast is like a way for me to just connect with people. Like I can't remember the last time I saw you. I think we went to Blaze Pizza.
Yeah.
That was really the last time. I think I was still in high school. I don't remember. Maybe I was 19.
I think you maybe were, because we were talking, because I'm sorry if it's like triggering, but you were going to go off to like SJSU or something.
Oh my God. That was a dark time in my life. Yeah.
It was around that time, I think. That was last time we were in Salinas. And yeah, I remember that because you were supposed to go off to school.
Yeah, so. I was supposed to, but I ended up here still, which is the best decision ever.
I like that.
But yeah, this podcast has been great. We just started, but it's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
Like you're my 4th interview that I'll have ready, but like all the editing, and then you have to submit it to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and they take a couple weeks to review it.
Oh,
and
really?
Then posting every Monday. So I'll post like 12 episodes for season 1, and then I'll take like a break.
Yeah.
And then we'll start season 2. But yeah, it's a good way to just connect with people. Like I have Andy Chun on. I graduated with him. He lives in Reno, and yeah, it's just the way to just start talking to people again. And I
remember you mentioning it in the podcast that you had mentioned him a couple times. Yeah, I remember Andy.
Oh,
yeah.
Andy. Oh, yes.
You mentioned him in the past too, you said.
I know. Because I admire him so much. He's super great.
Yeah.
It was very comfortable. But yeah, I love it.
And you did end up going to MPC and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just outed your school right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I went to MPC like at literally the last second. Like I was supposed to move into the dorms in SJSU like in a week, and I'm just like, I can't fucking do this because I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if moving out was the best decision for me. I'm getting acceptance letters. I just got 3 today from San Jose and San Francisco.
Wow, because you're about to graduate, right, from MPC?
Yeah, this is my 3rd year. I have my associates for transfer for psychology.
Good job.
And yeah, I'm excited.
What do you plan to do with your psychology license? Or
well,
is that how college people say? I'm so sorry. Do you understand what I said?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that made sense. So
yeah, it was hard for me because I first started with music because I love music, and I thought maybe I'm a music teacher or music something.
Yeah.
But I kind of let people move me in the direction of like just picking like an actual major like to focus on, and I went with psychology just because you could help people with it, and I learned a lot and I loved it. So that's what I got accepted for psychology, but I don't know if I'm making the right decision now of transferring, just because I think I've already spoken about this in a couple podcasts, but like I've been working for my dad for 3 years now in the office, and he wants us to take over one day, so that's been on my mind, and there's a lot to do there, and I get paid pretty good, and there's always stuff for me to do. So that's always an option. I just don't want that to be the main priority right now. I just want to go my own way, whatever that is. Like I got accepted at CSUMB, so that's still an option to get my bachelor's there.
How much more longer would it be? 2 extra years then?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, to stay here for two
and
more
it would
years.
be in psychology though, right? That you're trying to major in? Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's my major right now.
Okay.
But what the fuck I want to do with it, I don't. A counselor, a therapist, social worker.
There's a lot of different routes you can take with that.
Yeah.
It opens up a lot of doors and opportunity, which is why I even want to go back to school as well. So yeah, just stick with it. And I do feel, I see where you're coming from, like as far as like, taking over the business for your dad one day and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's great that you're still trying to leave room of opportunity for yourself and having some like, college graduation like diploma,
Yeah, that's been my main goal. I need to prove to myself and a lot of people that I could fucking graduate college. I just need to see that certificate.
And that's an inspiration for me as well. Like I said, I'm 21. I went to a trade school after, But, you and younger people and like, that are fresh out of high school and are going to college and they graduate, like, you won't believe me when I say how proud I am. Even though, like, I know these people from high school, I get so happy for them because I'm like, that's so cool. Like, you know what I mean? Even just in my trades program, my afternoon class was so small, but there was people dropping out. We started with like a small number of 10 and we probably ended with like 7, 5. Like, that's a lot of people to be dropping because people had to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to see them go on their journey and like see it, that they've made opportunity for themselves. I'm not saying school's always, school's not for everybody, but like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you won't know until you try. And even though it's like, I'm 21 now, I do feel the drive to want to be educated or just know more, not even more or less, because I feel like I need the, extra, you know, diplomas and stuff like that. But it is nice to have because I feel like it gave me something to work for, and can't nobody clock me for being stupid because on paper it says I'm smart, bitch. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's cool to just strive for things that you want.
Yeah.
And we should always have something that we're always striving for to get in life. And again, I mentioned it already, but like, we're 21. We have a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
I feel like you're doing a lot for yourself though. It's really cool. You work, you go to school, and you do, YouTube, and you do a podcast, and you still balance, working out or doing things that like, like are positive for yourself. And it's so beautiful to see people, because I have my off times or off moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, but then I see other people doing it and it's like, I can do it too. Or, they're taking care of themselves, and it's just a good reminder that I need to be taking care of me as well.
Yeah. For me, like, I've always kept myself busy, like in high school, like sports and clubs and link crew and yearbook, just because it's a good way to distract myself from, like, especially if you're going through like dark times. It's
Right.
always nice to have all this shit to distract you from, because imagine if you're going through a lot of shit and you have like nothing. You're just like in your head 24/7, like in your room. Like, that is not healthy. So I was always like, just do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and keep yourself busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's always been me. We have pretty good timing.
What are we at?
We're at 48 minutes, which
Are we
is,
still going to talk after?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Unless there's something else you want to mention, but I think I'm pretty good.
I mean, I'll talk to you more after, but yeah,
Okay.
just because I don't want to roll over hella long, so.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by Confabulate. Thank you to Tiana for coming by. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.